Welcome to Instrumentation and Control channel. So, in this video, I will explain part by part the DCS, fundamental of DCS from basic to advanced level. And this is the part 1 video where I am going to explain the introduction of the DCS system. तो पार्ट 1 में DCS का इंट्रोडक्शन देंगे, क्या है ये, इसका रोल क्या है, इसका फंक्शन क्या है, हाउ इट वाज रेगुलेटेड, ऑल दोस थिंग्स इन द पार्ट 1. So let's start. So if you look into the history of the DCS, before the DCS was invented, there was a microcomputer or mini computer or microcontroller that was used to control the process control system. So DCS, the function of the DCS is to control the process industry like petrochemical, oil and gas, and chemical industry, all those things. So it is the heart of the main plant, means process industry. So the distributed control system is the control system which is distributed into the industry to control the process. So the first industrial computer was built in 1959. Then Honeywell and Yokogawa invented their own DCS. So Yokogawa named as the Centum, and Honeywell PDS 3000. Now also Emerson launched their DCS also, that is Delta V, named as Delta V. So before I start the DCS, try to understand that the DCS has two parts. One is hardware part, which controlling the field instrument, and second part is the software part or programming part. So to the hardware part, you can connect the I/O to the DCS, and to the software part you can configure the I/O in the engineering station. So I will explain it later, step by step. So before start the DCS, you need to understand what is microcontroller. I think we have already studied what is microcontroller in your subject. It has mainly several parts, that is CPU, central processing unit, which is made by the processor, and the memory part. Memory part is the ROM and RAM, and another thing is that input output peripheral, I/O peripheral. The input output means input taking the output from the field and giving the output to the field to the output. Depends on your program. Now if you see in this picture that this is called scan cycle. Scan cycle is applicable for any microcontroller, microcomputer, microprocessor based system. So what is this? This is nothing but it is reading the input first from the field, then it is looking into the program, whether the I/O are related to the program is on or off. Depend on that, it will update the output. So this whole cycle is called program scan cycle. The scan cycle is very much important because it is the basic difference between the PLC and DCS. In case of PLC, scan cycle is minimum, and in case of DCS, scan cycle is more. So I will explain it. Now, before DCS, there was a flow controller. There was a controller system. Controller means it was made by Yokogawa, Honeywell, Rosemount, Emerson. Okay. So controller is nothing but you can think about a microcontroller. Just you can imagine that as a microcontroller which can control your system. How? For this example, you can see here across a pipeline one object is installed to create the delta P. So this is the typical flow control system, delta P, and this delta P is then measured by the differential pressure transmitter. We are going to the 4 to 20 milliamps input to the flow controller. Now depend upon the PID value in the controller system, it will give the output to your control valve to control the desired flow. For example, the difference of this flow controller has a set point of 30 torque. Means it will always maintain the flow at 30 turn per hour. Now this is called process variable. The input going to the controller, this is called process variable or PV. Now suppose for example this flow is 25 tons per hour. Your set value is 30 tons per hour. So there is a deviation of 5 tons per hour. To make up this 5 tons per hour, you have to open your control valve. So the controller will give the required output to the control valve to maintain that flow. This way, this the controller working. So the flow controller working as a microprocessor or microcontroller system. You can think about that. Now this is a DCS or controller has many type of input you can give, like analog input, digital input DI, that is called digital output DO. It can give the digital output to the system, like analog input and analog output. So the DCS can take analog input, digital input, and it can give digital output and analog output. So later I will explain the feedback system also. Now I am going to the analog system or conventional system, how it works. So in case of digital input or digital output, what is happening? Imagine this is a level 10. Now one low level switch is connected here, one high level switch is connected here, and one pump is there at the outlet of the system, and inlet one flow is maintained. So for example, this high level switch is a DI contact, digital input, and this is a low level switch, this is also a digital input contact. So digital input from these switches will go to the controller, and controller will control the pump. Can start stop depend on the level. For example, if the level is high, the pump will stop, or for example the level is low, the pump will stop. So depend upon the DI, it will control the pump. So this way digital input, digital output can be controlled by the DCS or your flow control. Process control system is basically two types. One is analog control system and another one is digital control system. In digital control system, feedback is the example. I'll explain the feedback system also. So now I am concentrating on the analog control system. In analog control system, how it is working in case of DCS. So this is the transmitter installed in the field. For example, flow transmitter. Now this flow transmitter giving the 4 to 20 milliamps output to the DCS. But DCS can understand 1 to 5 volt DC. So you have to install one signal conversion or signal conditioning card which will convert 4 to 20 milliamps to 1 to 5 volt DC. Now depends on this set point, it will hit the output. This is called closed loop control. If it is coming and depends on the programming, it will give the output to the final element control or the control valve. So before I have explained that if the set point is to maintain this set point, the controller will give the output to the final control element, which will maintain the flow or level or pressure, anything. So this way, the analog control system works. So just remember this. The transmitter will give the 40-20 milliamps. We have to convert that 40-20 milliamps to the 1 to 5 volt DC. So one signal conditioning card is required. Nowadays, it can be integrated part of the analog card of the DCS also. So this way, the DC system working for the analog control system. So this is the centralized control system. Now you just think that multiple controllers combined together, which can take n number of input. These are the input, n number of input procedurable PV1, PV2, PVN, PV3, PV4 like that, and it can take also n number of set values. You can think about that. This is a combination of several controllers, and it can give the output as a NV1, that is manipulated value, NV1, NV2, NV3, NV4, depending on the capacity of the controller. So this is a multi-processor controller. Think like that. So this is the centralized control system. This is called centralized control system. So what are the basic difference between the PLC and DCS? So DCS and PLC, if you look into the function, they are what is the same as like DCS and PLC also same working principle. But there are some basic difference between them. In PLC also we can figure out the microcontroller just like DCS, and in PLC there are two parts. One is a CPU, memory and IO section, that is called controller part, and another thing is the SCADA. SCADA means supervisory control and data acquisition. So in SCADA, simply you can see the graphics of the whole plant system. Whole plant graphics you can see in the SCADA, and you can give the commands to the SCADA. So this is basically a user interface between the machine and the human. Now the DCS. In DCS, both the SCADA and controller are the integral part. It comes all together. In DCS, this is called FCS, controller. Controller is called FCS, Field Control Station, I'll explain. And the monitoring system or the SCADA as a HIS, means Human Interface System, to which you can give the command or to which you can monitor the whole plant. That is called HIS. Second point is that PLC is used for basically the small package unit in a big plant. Means suppose a big plant has several small package parts like DM water plant, package boiler, addition section, like that. It has a several parts. You can install the PLC to those several plants of the big plant individually, and that PLC can be hooked up to the DCS, but DCS is used to control the whole plant. So this is the difference between DCS and PLC. PLC is used for small scale industry, can be used like batch process, like DM water plant, but DCS can control whole the system. The number of I/O in the DCS is much more than the PLC. And now, if you see the programming scan cycle, in case of PLC, I told you that in case of PLC, scan cycle is less. Why? Because the number of inputs are less, number of output are less, and the programming length also less. So, reading the input, go to the program and update the output cycle is less in case of PLC. Now, in case of DCS, whereas number of outputs are more, inputs are more, programming a huge programming length. So, reading the input, execution the program, and update the output in case of DCS takes more time. So, scan time for DCS is more than the PLC. Here is the advantage of PLC, and so the PLC is preferred in case of ESD system. ESD means emergency shutdown system. Suppose one plant you have some failure and your plant reactor has to box up immediately. In that case, for fast action, PLC is preferred. So, Yokogawa also make ESD system, that is called ProSafe, which is used for ESD system, emergency shutdown system, because its scan time is less. So, it will take action quickly. Now, I am come to the DCS part. DCS part, I told you that there are two parts basically, FCS, field control station, and another one is OPS or operating station, or HIS, human interface station. The function is same, name is different. Maybe it depends on the DCS to DCS number. Now, number of FCS, it depends on the plant capacity. If you have a big plant, it can have up to 10 number of FCS, field control station. Suppose you have a small plant, maybe one number of FCS, you can prefer. So, you just now recall the controller I have explained you, centralized system, which can take the n number of input, n number of set value, and can give the n number of output. So, this is the basic funda of the DCS, and FCS and OPS are connected to the bus bar or communication bar. This communication bar may be VNet, VLNet or Ethernet IP. So this way DCS works. Now this is the system architecture. So you can see here, this is the FCS. One FCS is connected to the communication bar, and HIS, whole number of HIS are there, which are connected to the communication bar to communicate with the FCS, field control station. And another communication bar is there, which connecting the each HIS to each other. So in OPS you can see the whole plant graphics, and you can give the command to this HIS to FCS. Now these are the PLC which are connected to the communication bus or Modbus. It is connected to the communication bus and giving the data to the HIS. And HIS will show you the values of this PLC bulb. So this is the typical components which are installed in case of big industry. You can see here one FCS is there, field control station. In number of FCS you can connect depends on the number of IO. Now this FCS is connected to the VNet communication bus, which is the communication bus. And this is the Ethernet communication bus, which is connecting the number of HIS or number of server, different type of server each other. So this is the process which is connected to the communication bus for ESD system. ESD system. This is the ESD system. So process is connected here. One PRM is installed. PRM means process resource management, plant resource management. This PRM function is different. I will explain it later. And hexacounter system is there. Hexacounter means you can see the long-term trend, or you can see, suppose 5 years ago what was the trend of some control loop. You can check it. I'll also explain it separately. So this is the system architecture, typical plan. Now you just realize how data is coming from the field to your control room. This is the field section. This is your control station where FCS are installed. It is a separate room maybe. And this is your control room where operators sit to control your plant. So HIs are there, 4 number of HIs are there. So data is coming from the field as a 4 to 20 milliamp signal is coming to the coming from the transmitter to the JB junction box. Then from the junction box the signal is going to the marshalling cabinet. Then from the marshalling cabinet it is going to the FCS, field control station 1, field control station 2. That FCS are connected to each other with a communication system like Ethernet maybe, or VNet, VNet IP. Then this FCS connected to the HIS to a Ethernet system maybe, or maybe VNet IP. So this way whole loop can be connected from the field to DCS. Now this way, this is the analog input coming from the transmitter. This way the analog output can be connected to a control valve also. So this is the system architecture, how it's looked into the field. This is the graphics part, where operator can monitor the whole plant condition. Suppose this is a FCB, flow control loop. The operator can see the set value is 30 ton, PV is 28 ton, 2 tons is deviation, NG is 50%. So if action is required, he can open the control valve more 55%, for example, to catch the SB set value to 30 ton. So this way operator can control whole system through HIS, Human Interface System, or operating station OPS. So this is the graphics. You can hit the command also, you can see the values also. So this is the same one graphics. Now in DCS you can see the online trend. Online trend means current trend. In tuning parameter you can see the current trend. So this is your set value. For example, set value is increased, your PV is going to increase slowly to catch the set value. Depends on this PID value, proportional integral derivative value. So this way you can check the online trend also. Depends on your graph, you can improve the graphs also by changing this PID value. You can refer my PID tutorial also for detailed explanation on how to change the PID value, all those things. So I am giving you the overview of the DCS. I will explain detail later also in my separate videos also. So this is the historical trend which you can get from the DCS system. This is called historical trend. Suppose I want a trend before 6 months ago, or 1 year ago, or 2 years ago, then I have to check the historical trend. From historical trend, you can check the graph pattern, how the graph pattern is usually and how it is behaving now. So we can compare these two graphs to improve the system. Suppose, for example, this graph is sinusoidal wave, and means it is a fluctuation. So it should be like that. For example, this should be like that, but it is fluctuating. So we can capture this type of error and we can correct it in the historical trend. We can get data to troubleshoot in many cases. So historical trend is very important. And another important feature of this is that we can develop interlock system in the DCS also. How? So now this is the tank of a level tank where high level switch are there, low level switch are there, one pump is there. For example, imagine here one on-off valve is there, on-off, maybe control valve also, on-off valve is also there. Now what happening, if I want to make an interlock system, I will explain it later. In interlock system, interlock can be made by LC64, ST16, sequence to E16, all those things. How it can be made, I will show you later. Just for basic fundamental explanation, look into this low level switch and high level switch. So these are the DI, and this is the DO, and pump. From pump also DI is coming to show you the whether the pump is running or not, whether it is the low level or not. So for low level it is coming from here. So in between this there are FCS certainly. So it is coming to the FCS, then it is going to the HIS system to show you whether the level is low or high. So this is a DI. Now this is a high level. So here, from here it is coming like this to FCS, field control station. In between this FCS is there. FCS is there. So one DI is coming, it is also DI. One DI is coming to the HIS to FCS to show you whether the level is high or not. So for example, if the level is high, this valve should be closed because this is the inlet valve. So this is the interlock. If the level is high, this valve will close. So for example, you can make one interlock in there's a different platform for receiver system, frequency stereo or AC64. For example, just take a NC contact or NO contact, depends on your plant philosophy. Suppose this level is high or low, the pump will stop, or the inlet valve will stop. So this way you can make interlock in DCS also. So I am giving the basic funda of the DCS in this video. I will explain next video the hardware part also. The components of the HCS, what are the basic components of the HCS, all these things I will explain. Then I will go to the programming part also, how to program a DCS control, how to make a control loop, how to make a open loop, how to make a interlock system, how to assign train, all those things I will give you step by step. So please like or subscribe and